गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Om Narayan Narayan Narayan. We were discussing the 41st point, in that pramanas are due to adhyasa. Pramananam adhyasa purvakatvam. All the pramanas presuppose avidya or within the realm of avidya. See, these two meanings it means. They presuppose without adhyasa there is no pramatrutvam. Nobody to pramata means one who uses pramana and gets the benefit of pramana. Both. The one who uses pramana is pramata, and one who gets the benefit of pramana, that is the prameya. And also pramata gets connected to prameya. Three things are there. Pramata means one who uses pramana. Okay, pramata is a one who uses pramanas, gets the benefit of pramana, that is pramana phalam. He gets pramana phalam. Third is gets connected to prameya, or is prameya sapekshaha. One more thing is prameya sapeksha is pramata. So in these three ways you call pramata. Pramata in these three senses. One is he uses the pramana and he gets the benefit of pramana. Third is he is relative to prameya. Anyway, we are discussing now all the pramanas, pratyakshadi pramanas are within the avidya. For this, we discussed only pratyaksha in the last class. He says pratyakshanumana upama tesham pratyakshadinam pramananam vyavaharaha mamedam pratyaksam abhut. Vyavahara means, you see, I got this pramana phalam. Now I have perceived this. Mamedam pratyaksham abhut. This has become, I have perceived this. I don't know how did I translate this? Yeah, I have mamedam pratyaksham abhut. So okay, mameyam anumitam abhut. I have inferred this. I have perceived this. Ityadi pratyaya vyapadesha lakshano vyavahara. You perceive, you also speak, you understand, and you also speak, and you also behave. All this is vyavahara. Now next is sacha. This pratyaksham cannot take place without indriyanyanupadaya. We are not discussing the pramanas here. Note the point. We are not discussing the pramana because, as I have told you in the previous class, our Vedanta doesn't discuss the pramana, how the pramanas function and all that, because pramanas is not the topic of Vedanta. Knowing Brahman is the topic of Vedanta. Brahma Swarupam. Shastra reveals, just a second. Shastra reveals Brahma Swarupam. So we study Vedanta only in order to understand the nature of Brahman. Okay. Therefore, Pratyakshadi Pramana is not the topic of Vedanta. But here we are discussing only all the Vyavahara is due to avidya. Therefore, Vedanta tackles the Mula avidya, which is responsible for entire Vyavahara, including Pramanas. Therefore, we brought Pramana here. You see, we are not discussing Pramana to understand Pramanas. Okay? And how it works and what knowledge it produces, all that we are not discussing in detail here. The purpose of discussing pramanas here is only to show the pramana, pramata, prameya, all this vyavahara is within avidya. That's all. how even pramanas are due to avidya. That's all we are discussing here. All the pramanas are due to avidya. One point. Pramanas are due to avidya is one thing. In this, another implication is without adhyasa, pramanas would have not been there. Okay? Without adhyasa, pramana vyavahara would not have been there in the Atmaswarupa. Since we are using pramanas, since I remain as a pramata, this itself proves that there is adhyasa. See, this is the point. Through the pramana vyavahara, he is trying to show how avidya is already there in and through all our vyavaharas. So our pramana vyavahara, pramatrutvam is shown as due to adhyasa. The very pramatrutvam is due to adhyasa. Therefore, adhyasa is there in all our pramana vyavahara. So, by using the pramanas, we cannot say we are in our nijaswarupam. We are in our real nature. We have slipped from our real nature and take myself to be somebody else. In that misunderstood state alone, I use vyavahara. I carry out my vyavahara. I carry out my vyavahara of knower, knowing and known only when I miss my real swarupam. In the real swarupam, the knower known duality doesn't exist, like in deep sleep. In deep sleep, which is free from all duality, I remain in my natural self, in my natural atma, swabhavika swarupam. Because in that swarupam, it is an effortlessness. Sushupti is not an acquired state, because there is nothing to acquire. There is no mind which has functioned, which has worked hard to get into Sushupti. Sushupti is not a state of mind, not a state of sense organs, not a state of body, not a state of anybody, not even a state of a world. Sushupti is not a state of the Panchabhutas. Sushupti is not the state of body. Sushupti is not the state of mind. Sushupti is not the state of intellect. Sushupti is not a state of a pramata, because none of them exist. How can you say it is a state of somebody? See, Sushupti is not a state of anybody, anything on the earth. In fact, it swallows the entire universe, all the avasthas. Itself is not an avastha. Itself is a natural, effortless, self-existing nature. Therefore, so in Sushupti, I have no pramana vyavahara, because there is no reason to explain. It is self-evident. Sushupti is self-evident, where there is no pramana vyavahara. When I am using pramana, I remain as a pramata. That time, pramatrutvam itself is my not nature. Pramatrutvam is not my nature. It is due to my misunderstanding. It is not being myself, I remain pramata. I find myself to be pramata when I don't remain myself what I am. When I don't remain what I am, what my real nature is, that means I am in my unnatural state. I am in unnatural state, I find myself to be pramata. This is what he is trying to prove. Your pramatrutvam and all our pramana vyavahara is in your unnatural state, not in your real nature of the Atma. Now, next point is indriyani anupadaya, without taking up sense organs. Taking up means without assuming, without identifying. Upadanam means here identification. Without identifying with your sense organs. Without owning your sense organs, without identifying with sense organs, no pramana vyavahara takes place. In other words, we identify with our sense organs and become pramata in your waking and dream state. Only in waking and dream state alone, there is vyavahara, and that is the time That is the time I find myself in the state of in an identified state with my sense organs. In waking and dream, these are the two states when I am pramata and carry out all pramana vyavahara, and that is the time I find myself in the condition of identification with my sense organs and mind. In deep sleep, I am not identifying with my sense organs. There are no sense organs and body. Then I am not pramata. When I am pramata, I find myself stuck with body, mind and sense organs. When I am not with body, mind and sense organs, I have no pramana vyavahara in deep sleep. Deep sleep and samadhi and other such experiences. So these two things are very clear. When there is no pramana vyavahara, I am not identified with body, mind and sense organ. When I identify with body, mind and sense organs, there is pramana vyavahara. See, it's very clear. Therefore, indriyanyanupadaya, without identifying without owning or identifying, okay? Without owning or identifying the sense organs and body and mind, I cannot become a pramata. Indriyanyanupadaya tesham vyaparamasvikritya. See, indriyanyanupadaya, without taking the functions of the mind and sense organs upon me. Swamiji's explanation in Sanskrit, tesham vyaparam asvikritya. Like you see, train is running. Train runs on its own. On its own means there is somebody to learn, somebody to run them. Government runs them. Now, if I board the train, I shall owning up the movement of the train. I'll be taking the movement of train upon myself and I start moving. If you board a car, the car's movement I take upon myself and I shall be moving. I shall be moving means I'll go from one place to another place. If I adopt the car's movement, if I take it upon myself, I shall move it. If I don't board the car, if I don't board the train may move, but I remain here alone. So when I impose the moving train upon myself, I also will get the movement. Okay, I also will start moving when I impose the movement of the train upon myself. Similarly, when I impose the sense organs and mind and the body upon myself, I become an individual, a knower. I use the pramanas and I come to see the world. All this happens only in the identification with sense organs and mind. Tesham vyaparam asvikritya. Indriya nasambhavati indriya vyapara niyatatvat tadrisha vyavaharasya. Okay. All such vyavahara is due to indriya vyavahara. Indriya vyapara, functioning of the sense organs. See, so this vyavahara, pramana vyavahara is, how to say that? Depends, okay. Pramana vyavahara depends upon sense organs. No, niyatatvat depends upon the functioning of, no, my translation is not correct. Niyatatvat, he says, tadrisha vyapara inevitably needs, you have to say that. Okay, tad vyavahara indriya vyapara niyatatvat tadrisha vyavaharasya. That vyavahara definitely presupposes, okay, indriya vyapara, okay, nan vetadeva katham uchyate akshasya prativishayam vritti kalu pratyakshanam. I think this indriya sannikarshascha vrittihi tasmat pratyaksha vyavahara tavat aksha vyaparam vina nopapade. The same thing he is elaborating in Sanskrit. So in word by word is explaining, but the idea is the same as I told. So it is the sense organs Here is one more interesting thing. We generally say that we are using sense organs to know the external object. But see, when is the sense organ without a contact with its object? Is there a sense organ without being in its contact, without being in contact with its object? Sense organ and its Vishaya, that is Agneya, they are together. They are like two sides of the same paper, two sides of the same coin. So the same paper has the two aspects. Similarly, Indriya and Vishaya go together. Now, do you have an Indriya without a Vishaya? Do you have eyes without seeing some color or something? That means when sense organ, when the eyes are not seeing, you can't call them eyes. Eyes means only seeing. When you see something, then you call eyes, isn't it? That means sense organ is always in contact with its object. Without the object, eyes are no eyes. Therefore here, Indriya Vyapara means the functioning of the eyes mean the object and the sense organs both together as one. Okay? Sense organs and its object both to... In fact, you can't call them two. You can't call them both. We are dividing from our mind, we are dividing. But in Anubhava, it is only one experience. Perception is one experience. Then that one experience of perception, we are dividing into the seer and the eyes, sense organ and the object. Seer is the one who knows through the eyes, that is the seer, one who sees through the eyes, and the sense organ eye, and also the object, that is colors. So these three, we are dividing them artificially, but in your experience they are one. It is a one unit of experience. Sense organs and objects, though we use the two words, but experience says perception is one unit. You see it, perception is one unit. That for sake of our discussion, for sake of understanding, we analyze two, sense organ and the object and the perceiver and all that. But in fact, all this forms one unit of experience. The division, in the last class, I told perception is not a process. Because do you say that first perceiver comes, then the sense organ comes, eyes come, then the object comes? You see, can you put these three? First perceiver, then the eye, and then the object. Or first object, then sense organ, and then the perceiver? Who comes first? Tell me, in these three. First perceiver comes first, or the sense organ, or the object? You cannot say. Because this, in your experience, you don't have these three step by step. Sequentially, you don't find them. You find all three in one unitary experience. Therefore, perceiver, the sense organ, and the object, all these three put together is one unit of experience. This I told in my previous class. But anyway, each time I say I will add something else, something new comes. So don't say that I didn't say exactly in these words. True, I did not say exactly in those words. But each time I say the same thing, something new comes. So the perception is one unit. The ingredients in it cannot be divided and seen them separately. Okay? Okay, so that perception, that means you come into the realm of perception only when you are in the identified state of sense organs. Without the sense organ, without that identification with the sense organ and mind, you will be only Atma like in Sushupti. You will be pure Atma, Chaitanya Atma. That means in the identification state, in the state of identification, you find Pramatrutvam, Pramana and Vyavahara, and therefore within Adhyasa, the idea is Adhyasam Puraskritya Sarve Pramana Prameya. That is the main idea Vedanta is trying to convey. Within Adhyasa alone, all this Vyavahara takes place. That's the idea. Okay, now coming to the next point. Now, Tasmat Pratyakshasta Pratyaksha Vyavaharastavat Aksha Vyaparam Vina Nopapadyate. Next, Tatha Anumanadi Vyavaharopi. Now we got Anumana Vyavahara. Even the inference also takes place only under the identification with your sense organs and mind. Without the identification with the sense organs and mind, no inference is possible. Because inference is a function of the mind and sense organs. And unless you own up the sense organs and mind, you means unless that Sakshi identifies with the mind and sense organs and becomes an individual, no inference is possible. Pure Atma, pure consciousness cannot infer anything, isn't it? Pure Chaitanya Atma cannot infer anything. Only in its condition of identification with your mind and sense organs, you can infer. Means what? You become a pramata to be able to infer. See, you become an individual knower, pramata or jnatru. You become a jnata. That means you are no more a sakshi. The sakshi no more means sakshi is always there. That can never go away. The sakshi is taken to be pramata. Then the pramana vyapara continues. Okay. As a pramata, you use the pramana. As a sakshi, you don't use pramana. Note it. Sakshi has no pramanas. No pramana, no prameya, no vyavahara, and no result of pramana. So the same sakshi, when it is mistaken as a pramata, mistaking means is not an event, as I told you. Mistaking is not an event. You find yourself to be pramata, that's all. That is your a beginningless experience, anadi anubhava, an instinctive experience. So, in your experience as a pramata, you find pramana vyavahara. In your experience as no pramata, no identification, then there is no pramana vyavahara. That means, in the state of identification, you are a pramata and you continue all your pramana vyavahara. So, indriya anumana vyavaharopi, even while inferring also, pratyakshopajeevitvat tesham, you infer, inference depends upon perception. This we discuss in what is that? Tarka Shastra. In Tarka Shastra, all these pramanas are discussed. But of course, the post-Shankarite Vedantins, Vedanta Paribhasha also discusses these things. Okay. So, inference depends upon perception. What is inference? You see a part of, you see something, you perceive something with your sense organs. And with the help of that perceived piece of information, what is connected to that perception, perceived piece of object, what is connected to that you infer. What is inevitably connected to what is perceived. This is inference. Inference is, just now we give the routine example, the very well-known traditional standard example is, you see the fire on the mountain rising up from here. You see the smoke is rising up, the smoke is rising, you see the smoke on the mountain, seeing the smoke you infer that there is a fire. Without fire, smoke cannot come. That's all. This is simple reason. Or when you go out and come back to your home and you see that some extra pair of chappal, and in another place of chappal means shoes, okay, and another pair of shoes you see at the gate, which is not yours and which is unusual. Then you guess that, oh, some guest has come because I see another pair of shoes here, some guest has come. So, though you have not seen the visitor to your home directly, from the shoes you infer that somebody has come. Okay. So, this is called inference. Or if you are walking on the road, you hear the horn. From the horn, you infer that some vehicle is coming. Okay. Though you do not see the vehicle directly, from the sound you understand, oh, something is coming from behind. This is called inference. So these are all known to us, okay. For children we are talking all these things. So we have to address all the kind of audience. So some of the simple things I have to explain. So most of you know them, but for sake of few people I am just explaining these points. So pratyakshopajeevitvat tesham nedamatra vivakshitam indriya vyaparo asadharana karanam sarvatra pramana vyavahara iti. Kintarhi indriya vyaparam vina naivatmalabhasyat pramana vyavaharasya iti. Without owning up the sense organs, no pramana vyavahara takes place. So, in perception, of course, sense organs are required. In inference, sense organs form the basis. Sense organ alone, the eyes and ears, etc. alone are not enough. Mind also has to function, but sense organs form the basis there. Okay. तथा हि लिंगलिंगिनोर धूमवन्योर संबद्धयोर दर्शनेन व्याप्ति स्मृति ही is explaining the how the inference takes place. Okay, first you perceive. With the help of the perceive, then what you perceive, you are reminded of what is connected to the perceived object and inevitably related that. So remembering that inevitable relationship, with the help of this perceived thing, you infer that something what is inevitably related to it also is present there. Like fire is inevitably related with smoke, because I think smoke is related to fire, we have to say. Smoke is inevitably related to fire. Without fire, smoke cannot arise. When there is a smoke, you say that there must be fire. Without fire, no smoke arises. Therefore, you infer that there is a fire. Similarly, ato tatascha apratyakshoarte vanyadhi anumiyate ato linga darsana purvakatvat anumana vyavaharasya indriya vyaparapeksha bhavati. Here, at least perception forms the basis for inference. Okay, but these are all so many technical points. We are not going into. We don't, because inferences are two ways. One is inference based upon perception. Another is inference based upon somebody's information. Inference based upon some statement. Somebody said something, based upon it you draw in another conclusion. Here you are not perceiving. Perception is not forming the basis, but somebody's statement is forming the basis for further inference. Okay, these are all technical details of Anumana Pramana inference. So we study in the Tarka Shastra, we leave them. Okay, go ahead. So evam go gavaya samana dharma martha indriya sannikarshat upalabhyaiva gavaya pratipatti riti ata upamana vyavaharasyapi tadapeksha. In next is upamana pramana. Upamana is what you say that? Comparison? No. Comparison is an analogy. Analogy is a pramana. You see something, by comparing with another, you understand, oh, this is this, I understand, like this. So this is one thing. Next is arthapatti. Arthapatti means presumption. Arthapatti is presumption. Evam tena vina anupapadyamanasya arthasya pinatvasya darshanat. So without something, the other thing would not be possible. What is an inevitably required to see this thing? I am seeing this thing, but this requires as an inevitable factor, inevitable cause for it. Therefore, you infer that inevitable cause. You presume that this must have happened. Without that, this cannot happen. So this is a fourth pramana. First is pratyaksha, second is anumana, third is upamana, fourth one we are discussing presumption. Okay, presuming, assuming something. This is called arthapatti in Sanskrit. In our technical philosophical language, arthapatti. Okay, so arthapatti is a pramana. For example, he gives a very interesting example in our traditional example. What is it? Devadatta, here is a person, Devadatta, he is fasting. He is fasting, but he doesn't seem to lose his weight. It's a strange fasting. Okay, you don't ever see him eating food daytime. Okay, yet he is not losing weight. But whenever I see him, he is not eating. Then you guess that he must be eating in my absence in the night when nobody is watching. Because this is a traditional example we give. See, shall I read that? Pino Devadattaha Divana Bhunkte. Devadatta, who is not losing weight, is looking well healthy, but he doesn't seem to be eating during daytime. Then you infer he must be eating in the night when nobody is watching. Okay, so darshanat diva bhojana rahitasya devatatasya ratri bhojanam pratipadyate. Otherwise, it's not possible to remain without losing weight. Okay, therefore, ityarthapatti vyavahara. Arthapatti means that becomes an inevitable reason for maintaining his weight. Tadapeksha evam. Now, fourth pramana we have finished. Then coming to the fifth pramana, What is the fifth pramana? Anupalabdhi. What is anupalabdhi? Not knowing is anupalabdhi. He says, bhutale gato nasti ityanupalabdhi vyavaharasyapi bhutala roopadhikarana pratyaksha purvakatvad asti tadapeksha. See, in absence of something, when you see there is no pen in my hand, okay, there is no pen in my hand. To see that there is no pen, you must perceive what? You have to perceive the bare hand. You perceive the bare hand and don't see the pen there. So here again perception is operating. Perception is helping you to see that there is no pen. Then you may ask, are you perceiving the absence of pen? Nobody can perceive the absence of pen. We can perceive the pen when it is present. When pen is not present, how can you perceive the absence of pen? Absence is not an object available for perception. Then you see the bare hand and you understand that, oh, there is no pen. So here perception is working to perceive the hand, bare palm, and without pen. Then what is that pen? Only when you think of the pen, you look at the hand, see that, oh, there is only hand and no pen. Okay, when you think of the pen, you say that. Okay, therefore, in these things again, perception is required as a basis for perceiving an absence of pen. Okay. Tadeva mindriya vyaparam anupadaya pratyakshadi vyavaharo nasambhavati iti stutam. Therefore, ultimately, what is concluded is without perception, no pramana vyavahara takes place. Atra yadyapi vadinaha pratyakshadinam sankhyayattayam lakshana pariskare cha vipratipadyante tathapi sakshat pranalikaya va indriyanam vyaparam apuraskritya pramana vyavaharo naiva bhavati ityatra tu na kasyachit vimatir bhavati. This is an unnecessary, this is a simple technical point. Regarding the number of pramanas, there is a difference of opinion among the scholars, among the philosophers. See, in India we have 6 schools of philosophy. Why 6? We have got 3 more also. 6 Vedic schools, 6 Vedic schools and 3 non-Vedic schools. One is atheist, second is Jaina, third is Buddha. Jaina school, Buddha school and atheistic school. 3, and the 6 are Vedic schools. Put together 9. In fact, you can further divide them, there are many more. But anyway, roughly let us take 9. Among these 9 schools of philosophy, not all of them accept all the pramanas. Some of them accept one. For example, Nastikas accept, the atheists accept only perception. Jainas accept a few more. Buddhists accept 2. Pratyaksha and Anumana, only 2. That's all. So, some people accept 1 more. Another school accepts a few more. Nayayikas accept 4. Like this, each school accept 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 like this. And then Vedantins accept all the pramana 6. As many as all the schools have accepted. Okay. Therefore, he says, we are not particular about how many pramanas are there, who accepts and all those details. Whatever it is, if you accept 6, okay, let us say all the pramanas require, all the pramanas necessarily presuppose perception. So perception is the basis for all the pramanas. That means identification with the sense organs and mind is inevitable in all pramanas. That's all is enough. Now let us go proceed. अतः प्रमाणलक्षणसंख्यादि निर्धारणे नास्ति अस्माकं निर्भरः इति ज्ञेयम्. So we are not I am checking my translation. Okay, 111, 112. Okay. Now we will conclude and go to the next. Nanu astu evam etat. Okay, you leave this thing. This is not important. All the pramanas presuppose the identification with sense organs. Okay. That we have understood. Then go to the next. Nan vastu nama itat. Let it be okay. But katam etavata pramananam avidya purassaratvam. All the pramanas depend upon the pratyaksha. Okay, this much is accepted. So how can you say that all these pramanas are due to ignorance? This is the main point. He says, due to ignorance. Ignorance means misunderstanding, wrongly identifying. Ignorance means misunderstanding, or misunderstanding means wrongly identifying with other than what one is. A wrong identification is adhyasa. Okay, then how can you say all the pramanas are due to adhyasa? He says, tatrochachena cha adhisthana mantarena indriyanam vyavaharaha sambhavati. Without identification with sense organs, no pramanas. One more point. Even the sense organs and mind also function. Without the body, they don't function. Adhishthanam. Here, adhisthana is body. So identification with the body also becomes inevitable. Sahi sharira rupamashrayam vina pratyakshadi vyavaharapekshitanam indriyanam vyaparaha sambhavati. Without the body. Okay. Ashrayo hi shariram cha ishtadinam. Body is the basis. Now body is the locus. Resting place. The body is the resting place or the locus for the actions, senses and experiences. For the senses to operate, for the experiences to take place, and for all the actions, body is the basis. Without the basis, of body, no functioning takes place. Okay. Ashrayo hi shariram cheshtadinam yatahu cheshtendriyarthashrayas shariram iti Nyaya Sutra. Ipsitam jihasitam. Just a minute, I have to note down certain points. Later I will not get them. Okay, so ipsitam jihasitam cha arthamuddishya ya cheshta tesham ashrayaha. So you have a desire to achieve something, you have to desire to get rid of something. For this, both the kind of desires, to acquire and to get rid of. For both these desires, cheshta, the acts, you act in two ways. One is acquiring something and another is getting rid of something. For these two actions, ashraya, body, without the body, these two can't be done, isn't it? Without the body, acquiring something and losing something, losing means getting rid of something. Both these activities take place only through body. So this action takes place only through body. Without body, no action. Therefore, tadanugrahena anugrihyante tadupagate cha upahanyante. If so, evam cha tadanuvidhanat tadashritani indriyani. Therefore, sense organs depend upon the body to function. Without the body, sense organs can't function. Vishayopalabdhir nimitto arthas sukham dukkhancha. And only when you are in touch with the external objects, you have the pain and pleasure, all the various experiences, sufferings and happiness and all. Tadashraya shariram. Therefore, body is the basis of experiences. Body is the basis of knowledge. Body is the basis of action. Three things. Body is the basis. Basis means helping base. Not basis, let us say base. Base. Instead of basis, let us say base. Body is the base of cheshta, indriya, then anubhava. तदाश्रितानि इंद्रियाणि विषयोपलब्धि निमित्तो अर्थसुखं दुःखं च तदाश्रयः शरीरं सत्यमेव शरीरे तत्संभवात् तदेव प्रमातृत्व प्रयोजकानि इंद्रियाणि तत्प्रवृत्तिः फलाभिसन्धि कृत सुखदुःख संवेदनं च इत्येतत् सर्वं शरीराश्रितमेव. Therefore knowledge, acts and experiences, all the three require body necessarily. For acting you need the body, for perceiving you need the body, because sense organs have to be dependent on the body, and knowing also sense organs have to function, then the body is required. Okay, तदेत सर्वं विसन्धायोक्तं न च अधिष्ठानमन्तरेण इन्द्रियाणां व्यवहारः सम्भवति. Therefore without the body no व्यवहार. अस्तु सर्वमेवेदं तथापि प्रमाणानाम् अविद्यापुरस्सरत्वे किमायातम् अनध्यस्तात्मभावेन देहेन कश्चिद् व्याप्रियते. This is the beautiful point. This is important. Without the body imposed upon Atma, no action, no functioning, no worldly activities are carried out, no worldly experience, no worldly activity. Without the body imposed upon the Atman, anadhyastha Atma bhavena, without identification with the body, dehena kaschid vyapriyate iti ayam ashayah ukta madastat yatha dehashrita indriyanam vyaparaha tadapekshascha pratyakshadi vyavahara तथा इदं निष्पन्नं शरीर संबद्धेन भवितव्यम आत्मना प्रमाण व्यवहार सिद्धर्थम. Therefore he should be always connected with the body. अन्यथा ह्यात्मन प्रमातृत्वमेव न स्यादिति. This is the beautiful. Without the identification with the body and sense organs and mind, no pramatrutvam is possible. Okay. तदाश्रितानां प्रमाणानां प्रमाण प्रवृत्तिरिति नन्वस्तु शरीर संबंधोपि कानो हानिः न कापि यदि संबंध एव यः कोऽपि अवगम्येत न तु अवगम्यते तथा हि न तावद् देहेन आत्मनस्तादात्म्यं विषय विषयिणोस्तदनुपपत्तेः न च संयोगसमवायौ न हि आत्मनो निरवयस्य असंसर्गिणो अद्रव्यात्मकस्य देहेन संयोगः समवायो वा युज्यते न च अन्यः सम्बन्धः कल्पनीयः समस्ति चिन्मात्रस्य स्वयं सिद्धस्य. This point I think we will take up in the next class. Is a one separate topic. अस्तु शरीर संबंधोपि को हानिः न कापि यदि संबंधः एव यः कोऽपि अवगम्येत न तु अवगम्यते. See, body is not related to Atma. This is an interesting thing. Body is an imposed thing but not related to Atma. This point we have to discuss. Is body connected to Atma? Yes. People say yes it is. No. For the standpoint of Atma there is no body at all. Yet this is how Purva Pakshi is arguing, yes, body is there and it gets connected to Atma. Purva Pakshi is arguing this. Siddhanti refutes this. This is one topic. I think we need more time. So it's not enough. Today though we started late, but I think it's enough. We'll discuss in the next class. Body connected to Atma only through Adhyasa. This is one point to understand. Without Adhyasa, no body comes into picture. There is no question of body, physical body, without the Adhyasa. This point we have to discuss. Is a little interesting point. We'll discuss in the next class. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tassat. This is one big topic. I think 3 pages. The connection between the body, without assuming the body, no vyavahara takes place. That how body gets connected to Atma. This is the point. This is the special point of Vedanta. We need to discuss it. We will discuss in the next class.